Hi, this is TJ with Piano Clubhouse, and today I'm going to show you how to play Win by Kirk Franklin. Song's in the key of D flat. The D flat major scale is D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, and D flat. We're using all the black keys. So the introduction. Okay, so very simple. It's just really based off of the major chords. We're playing first the D flat major, then down to a B major, then down to an A major, just down whole steps, back up to B major, then back up to D flat major. So just three major chords, just going down each one and back up. But of course, it didn't sound like that when I just played it, because I did a few alterations, but I wanted to just show you first what I was playing was based off of. So now let's kind of show you what I was doing specifically. So instead of playing just this straight D flat major chord with the left hand, I'm adding the fifth note of the scale, which is A flat. Matter of fact, I'm going to play this down here. The right hand, instead of just playing the straight triad, I'm going to drop this D flat down to C and play the E flat as well. So instead of playing just one note here, I'm going to split the difference and play the note on either side of the D flat. So now I've got four notes down here with the D flat and the A flat up here. And then I actually reached up and played this pinky C, the C with my pinky too. And I rolled to the right to kind of give it even more character. The next chord, instead of playing just a B triad, I did the same thing. I added the fifth to the left hand, and instead of playing this B, I played the note below it and the note above it. And we'll do the same thing when we get to A, and feel free to add that pinky, the octave pinky, and then to go back up. Okay, so that's the whole introduction one more time. Now, a couple things I love to do when I'm playing a chord or ending up on a chord like this in the key of this is in the key of B, and of course the B scale uses all black keys, so it's really fun to, when you land on this chord, to kind of do that glissando, because every note that you're playing is in the key, so every note sounds good doing that. So let's do that one more time, add that last glissando at the end, and then we'll get right to the verse, okay? Okay. That's the introduction. Now we're at the first chord of the verse. So before I get started to the verse, I need to show you one quick progression that we're going to use over and over again in the song. A progression is just a series or a pattern of two or more chords. And there's a pattern of three chords that we're going to use almost at the beginning of every phrase, a majority of the song. So I wanted to show it to you one time. We'll just call this our primary progression. And that means whenever I say, hey, now we're going to do the primary progression, that just means we're going to do what I'm about to show you, and that way I don't have to reteach this same progression every single time I get to it. So the first chord of this progression is just that D flat major chord that we played at the beginning. Remember, instead of playing just the D flat here, I dropped it to the C and added the E flat. The second chord of this progression, left hand is going to move down a half step to C and G. Right hand is going to go to B flat, E flat, and F. Okay? First chord of the progression. Second chord of the progression. Third chord. Left hand goes to B flat and F. Right hand goes to A flat, C, D flat, F. Okay? So those three chords together make up what I'm going to refer to now as the primary progression that I'm going to be referring to throughout this entire video. So pause the video if you need to, memorize that, because we're going to reference that a whole lot in the song. One last thing I want to let you know is that this song uses just lots of basic major chords. While the song seems complex and doing lots of different changes and seems like it's going into different keys, the simplicity of it is that lots of the things we're doing is just going to major chords all around the piano. At one point we'll do just the D major chord like here. At one point we'll do an E major chord. We might do a G flat major chord. We're going to do an A major chord. We're going to do B major chord. So we're doing major chords all around this song, just straight chords. So this is a really good song to really get in practice, to help you practice jumping around to different major chords, okay? And what you're going to see is, remember when I did the major chords at the beginning in the introduction, instead of playing just a major triad, I dropped the first note and added that second. I'm going to be doing that a lot when I do all those various major chords. So instead of A major, instead of playing this triad, I'm going to drop this A down to G flat and add that B. Okay, so I'm adding the same I guess dressing to each of the chords I'm doing. Okay, so let's just get right to the song. I think I've talked enough. I think you get the idea. Let's go right to the introduction. So we're going with the primary progression. Next, this B flat is going to go drop down to A in the left hand. The right hand is going to, so the left hand is on A and F. Right hand is on G, B, D flat, and F. And then to end this progression, left hand goes down to A flat and E flat. Right hand is G flat, B, B, and E flat. Okay, so one more time. And then it repeats a second time. All right. So the next section, left hand is going to go up to G flat, and it's just going to go from G flat to F. G flat, F, G flat, F, then A, B flat, E. One more time, G flat, F, sorry, A, B flat, down to E. Right hand over the G flat, we're doing F, B flat, D flat, and F, and the right hand is just going to alternate between this. The octave Fs are going to stay put. It's these inside fingers that are going to shift from B flat and D flat down to A flat and C. And that's going in conjunction with the left hand going down from G flat to F. Then when the left hand goes to A, we're just going to raise this A flat to A in the right hand. Left hand goes to B flat, right hand goes back to that first chord we did. And then the last chord, left hand jumps down to E, right hand just going to do an E major chord with that modification I showed you. Drop the first note, add the second. Okay. So let's do that section. So now we're going to the next section. We're going to go back to the primary progression. And there's a little pickup note. A flat, B flat, D flat, E flat, F, and you can just kind of land on a B flat major chord and then jump back down to the primary progression. Watch. And then right here, usually I said for the primary progression we're going to do 3 chords. We don't go down to this one for this one. We only do the first 2. So it's this one. And then here's where this is different. So right hand, let me break this up. Right hand is going, this B flat's going to stay put. We're going to play D, E flat, F, A flat, G flat. And to remind you, for each of these hits, the B flat is always being pushed with the thumb. Then we're going to go to this B flat minor chord, B flat, D flat, F. So I ran the melody, E flat, D flat, and then A, D flat, E flat, G flat. Okay? Left hand. So the left hand is going B flat, C, D, D, E flat, G, B. That's it. Okay, slowly with the left hand, with the right hand. There's a little time in there where you can run the octave chords for that. Then we go back to the beginning. Now we're going to go back to our primary progression. Now here where we're going to do something different. We're going to go to a G flat major chord. Left hand is going to be on G flat and D flat. Right hand is just G flat, D flat. I'm sorry, G flat, B flat, and D flat. And we're going to add this A flat. And then we're going to jump down to an E major chord. Left hand's on E. You can play that fifth if you want with the B. Right hand is just going to be on an E major chord with that modification I showed you. Here's the E major triad, but we're dropping the E down to E flat and adding the second. The same modification I've added to almost every triad I've done in the song so far. Okay? So let's do just that one more time. Just this progression. Then it goes back to the beginning or back to the primary progression. Then here, after this primary progression this time, we're going to go into a walk up to an A major chord. There it is. Right hand is D flat, E flat, E, G flat. And then land on this D flat minor chord, D flat, E, A flat, run that melody, G flat, E, and then land on a G flat major chord with this E flat at the top. And left hand was on A and E, and the left hand is just going to go down a half step to A flat and E flat. Okay. And then let's see, this is when they go into the win. This is kind of the ending of the verse. Win. Primary progression again. Oh, no. This is where we go to the just the major chord, just like the introduction. D flat down to B now. And then right after that we go right into the second verse. Okay, so let's go back to the second verse. Is a little different. I don't want to get into that yet. Let's go right to, I want to play through the first verse all the way through, and put all those pieces together. I know it's a lot of different stuff that's kind of similar, so it's almost hard to kind of pull it apart. But once you get familiar with the recording, this will make a lot more sense. So let's just start from the beginning with the introduction. Second time, same thing. Sorry. What's coming next? Okay, so that was the entire first verse. I had a few little hiccups in there. But you get the idea. That's kind of the flow of it. You saw a lot of that primary progression in there. That happens a lot. So now we're going to the second verse. There's a few minor changes. Most of it's the same, but just a few little things. So let's go through it. So the second verse now starts out the same. Now the second verse, the first time we went to that chord. But what we do this time, after this primary progression, we're doing that walk up to the A major 7 again. Getting sloppy. There it is. So we're doing that at the beginning of this first verse. Okay, so we do that the first time, then we go back to the primary progression the second time. Now we go to the normal first chord we did before, where what we did the first time. Okay, then everything else is still kind of the same as before. Where are we? Okay. And then